It's Thursday, May 29th, 2025. Get ready for CBS Mornings Plus.
Here's what we're talking about.
Elon Musk reveals he's stepping down from his role at the Department of Government Efficiency. We've got the details.
What Musk accomplished over his brief 4 months here was deep cuts to the government.
Buy now, pay later might seem like a great option, but could it cost you big time? Jill Schlesinger breaks it all down in today's Money Watch.
I don't want you to love me.
And our Never Too Late series continues as Vlad gets ready for his close-up.
I thought things had to be stable and certain. I was wrong.
Plus, critics are raving about the new Broadway musical Real Women Have Curves. Stars Justina Machado and Tatiana Cordoba join us live.
Flying away, I'll make her see that I'm gonna change the world and still be the daughter she wants me to be. Can I fly away?
I'm still flying high from watching that show yesterday.
Did you love it?
I loved it.
Thank you.
Yes.
Confirming for me, because I also loved it.
Tony sent me this text just glowing about the show after he saw it.
Huge fan. We're going to talk to two of the stars.
Yes.
Two of the stars. We got a great show. We got a lot to get into it.
We do indeed, but we begin with new controversy around the president's latest series of high-profile pardons. They include reality stars Todd and Julie Chrisley, who've been serving time for fraud and tax evasion. Their daughter, Savannah, is a big Trump supporter and spoke last summer, if you remember, at the Republican National Convention. Scott MacFarlane has more from Washington. Scott, good morning.
Adriana, good morning to you. There is one thing that many of these recently pardoned individuals have in common. It's that they or their family members are ardent supporters of President Trump, including this reality show couple.
Todd and Julie Chrisley are among the latest recipients of full presidential pardons, leading to their release from prison Wednesday. Late Wednesday night, their daughter Savannah posted on Instagram a video appearing to show her father after he left prison.
Oh, yeah, failed him. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It's hard. Todd's jacked.
The couple, who earned millions from their TV show Chrisley's Know Best, were convicted of tax evasion and bank fraud in 2022, but Trump intervened after appeals from Savannah.
I'm just so grateful that I'm gonna leave here with my dad.
Savannah Chrisley was a featured speaker at the Republican National Convention last year, and on Tuesday, the president spoke to her from the Oval Office about her parents' pardon.
I don't know them, but give them my regards and wish them a good life.
The Chrisleys are among a wave of relief recipients this week, also including the notorious former Chicago gang leader Larry Hoover, who received a commutation of multiple federal life sentences for running a criminal enterprise while imprisoned on a murder conviction. Hoover still faces 200 years on state charges. And Michael Grimm, a former New York congressman, was pardoned. Grimm pleaded guilty in 2014 to felony tax fraud after infamously threatening a reporter who tried to ask him about the investigation into his finances.
Let me be clear to you. You have to do that to me again, I'll throw you.
And on Wednesday, a month after Michigan Democratic Governor Gretchen Whitmer visited Trump at the White House, Trump suggested he's considering a pardon for the men convicted in a plot to kidnap her in 2020.
It looked to me like somewhat of a railroad job. I'll be honest with you. It looked to me like some people said some stupid things. You know, they were drinking, and I think they said stupid things. But I'll take a look at that.
I think they're...
These cases, Trump claims a weaponized Department of Justice launched the prosecutions that he's wiping off the books. But it's worth noting the January 6 cases, which were the focus of his first wave of pardons this term, were launched in the final weeks of Trump's first term. Tony?
Scott, thank you very much. In other news, Elon Musk announced last night that he is leaving his role leading the Department of Government Efficiency. It was quick work. The world's richest man's departure from his government job comes just 4 months into President Trump's second term. Nancy Cordes is at the White House, where we can often find her. She's got more again this morning. Nancy, good morning.
Good morning, Tony. CBS News has learned that Musk's final day here at the White House will be tomorrow. He's already begun the offboarding process. In his 4-month tenure here, Musk made deep, unprecedented, and Democrats would say arbitrary cuts to federal spending and the federal workforce.
This is
the chainsaw for bureaucracy.
The outspoken Elon Musk bid an understated farewell last night in a brief online post on his social media site X. As my scheduled time as a special government employee comes to an end, he wrote, I would like to thank President Trump for the opportunity to reduce wasteful spending.
The people voted for major government reform, and that's what the people are going to get.
As the driving force behind DOGE, Musk spearheaded seismic cuts at the Department of Education and the IRS and all but eliminated USAID. Across government, more than 200,000 federal workers were laid off.
If we don't do this, America will go bankrupt.
Before departing, Musk warned in a new interview with CBS News that the massive Republican tax cut bill will add to the deficit and undermine DOGE's work.
I think a bill can be big or it can be beautiful, but I don't know if it can be both. My personal opinion.
We will be negotiating that bill.
In the Oval Office Wednesday, President Trump seemed to acknowledge that the bill has flaws. And he stepped up his criticism of Russian President Vladimir Putin, who has intensified his air attacks on Ukraine, even as Trump tries to broker an end to the war.
I'm very disappointed at what happened a couple of nights now where people were killed in the middle of what you would call a negotiation. I'm very disappointed by that.
With a peace deal now in limbo, Trump said he's open to imposing new sanctions on Russia.
Do you still believe that Putin actually wants to end the war?
I can't tell you that, but I'll let you know in about 2 weeks. Within 2 weeks, we're going to find out very soon. We're going to find out whether or not he's tapping us along or not. And if he is, we'll respond a little bit differently.
We asked President Trump if he's planning to meet with Putin and Zelensky in neutral Geneva, Switzerland soon, as Zelensky says he's prepared to do. And President Trump said that depends on what Putin does. Then the Russians said they're ready to hold meetings in Turkey next week. The Ukrainians have called the change of venue a stalling tactic. Tony?
It's something. Nancy, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Turning now to severe weather sweeping the south this morning. Hurricane-force winds and hail the size of golf balls slammed Austin, Texas yesterday, knocking over trees and power lines, leaving thousands without power. One person died also after being swept away by floodwaters. CBS News meteorologist Rob Marciano is with us with more. Rob, good morning. Where are these storms heading next?
Hey, Tony. They're heading to the northeast, but I tell you what, Texas has kind of been the birthplace of these storms and this really choppy pattern that we're in. And see these storms that are rolling through New Orleans and Mobile. They'll get to parts of South Carolina, but another pulse heading across parts of Texas later on today. And then tomorrow, a front kind of gets itself together, and a big chunk of the East Coast is going to get into it. Charleston, you're in it. Raleigh, Charlotte, all the way up to Richmond. These could post some damaging hail and maybe some damaging wind, and then it all kind of congeals over the northeast right about Saturday, maybe even into Sunday. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news there. To the west we go. Heat is building here. There's a big ridge that's starting to build up here, and for the next 2 to 3 days, we're talking about some serious heat across the Sacramento, San Joaquin valleys of California, 15 to 20 degrees above average. Las Vegas, you'll be well above 100 degrees on tomorrow, and then Saturday is when the heat really is going to peak. Well, south of there, we have our first tropical depression of the season in the eastern Pacific. It is about 700 miles south of Cabo San Lucas. We do expect it to strengthen later on today to a tropical storm. If so, its name would be Alvin. And then the track of Alvin takes it towards Cabo, but it does get into cooler waters, and some wind shear probably will weaken it before it gets into Mexico. But we've got a long season ahead. The Atlantic season starts on Sunday, June 1st. So Alvin hopefully won't pose too much of a threat. Adriana?
Hopefully not. Rob, thank you so much. Now to the Middle East, where Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says Hamas's leader in Gaza, Mohammed Sinwar, has been killed in an Israeli airstrike. He's the brother of the late mastermind of the October 7th attacks, Yahya Sinwar, who was killed by Israeli forces last October. Meanwhile, in Gaza, aid distribution efforts were disrupted yesterday when thousands of people broke into a UN warehouse to take food and other supplies.
Back in this country, there's new controversy over links between the White House and the crypto industry. More than 30,000 crypto enthusiasts traveled to Las Vegas this week for the conference known as Bitcoin 2025. There are some of the enthusiasts looking enthused. Yesterday's headliner was a big one. Vice President J.D. Vance pledging the president's support. According to disclosures, the vice president himself personally owns as much as $500,000 in Bitcoin. The Trump family also has invested in crypto generally. Jolene Kent is at the conference and has more.
In Las Vegas, tens of thousands of people are betting on Bitcoin, including Vice President J.D. Vance.
Crypto finally has a champion and an ally in the White House.
The president's two eldest sons, Eric and Don Jr., were also here promoting the industry. By some estimates, their father's crypto holdings now make up nearly 40% of his net worth, or approximately $2.9 billion.
We're ending the weaponization of federal regulations against this community.
That's welcome news for Robinhood, a popular trading platform for crypto and stocks. CEO Vlad Tenev.
Under the previous administration, no other way to put it, it was basically a carpet bombing of the entire industry. Suddenly, you're allowed to play some offense.
President Trump has come under fire for personally benefiting from cryptocurrency. On Tuesday, his media company announced it's raising $2.5 billion to invest in Bitcoin. Our CBS News analysis has also found that as President Trump's investments in crypto have increased, the SEC has also paused a dozen investigations into crypto companies since inauguration.
How do you feel about the president's personal investments in cryptocurrency?
Of course, it is a potential conflict, but the idea that they're motivated by personal gain, I don't know if that has too much backing in fact.
For CBS Mornings, I'm Jolene Kent in Las Vegas.
In today's Money Watch, we've got a couple headlines affecting consumers. First, a major development concerning those Trump tariffs. Yesterday, the U.S. Court of International Trade, didn't know it existed, now you do, ordered a freeze on most of his sweeping import taxes on other countries. The court unanimously ruled that the president had overstepped his authority. But it's not over yet. The administration is appealing that court's decision.
Also, you've heard of buy now, pay later, right? Well, one of the companies behind that, Klarna, made headlines last week after revealing consumers are failing to pay back loans. So is there a personal credit crisis coming? And what does this tariff ruling mean for businesses? CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger is here to tackle it all. Good morning, Jill.
Good morning.
Let's start with the tariffs. What does this ruling mean exactly?
Well, it means that there is a pause on a lot of the tariffs that have already been paused. So we're talking about those tariffs that were announced on April 2nd, the 10% across the board, then the 145% on China, which are now 30%. But what we are not talking about are tariffs on steel, aluminum, and autos. Those remain in place. But as you said, there's going to be an appeals process. And, if I'm a business and I'm trying to make a decision, this does not give me any clarity. We have no idea where this is going next. The administration is likely to try to reinstate some of these tariffs under different rules that would pass muster under the court system. So we are in a wait and see, at least again, from the business perspective. As consumers, to be clear, nothing's going to change for us. Prices are heading higher for a lot of goods. They've already been tariffed. And we also know that the economy is slowing down a little bit in response to that uncertainty.
Wait, but why would nothing change for us as consumers if these tariffs are being paused even more?
Well, because those tariffs have already been brought down dramatically, and it is likely by the administration, and it is likely that the administration will find a way to reinstate a lot of them.
Okay.
So there's a statement from the White House. It says it's not for unelected judges to decide how to properly address a national emergency. In this case, the question is, what's a national emergency? Like, this is the economy that Republicans and Democrats have helped build for the last 3-4 decades.
Yeah, and specifically under this rule, the way that they've created the national emergency conversation is around the trade deficit, which, from an economist's point of view, is nonsense, because a trade deficit is not a national emergency. Perhaps if you were in a debt ceiling crisis, that could cause a national emergency. But remember, what is the trade deficit? We're buying stuff from the rest of the world. It's not a one-sided deal. We get the stuff, they get our dollars. That's not a national emergency. That's what the court said.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so let's switch gears to this buy now, pay later news. How do these plans work? And what is this announcement by Klarna, which does these types of payment plans that they made?
Okay, so buy now, pay later, it's like the old school installment loan. You pay for a quarter of whatever you're buying up front, and then you've got installments, usually 4 payments in total. So you make one now, and then if you pay those next 3 installments off, it's kind of a great deal. There's no interest, no worries, no problem. Okay, What if you don't make those payments? That's what Klarna has said. They said, oh, there are a lot of people who are using these plans. They're not making those next 3 payments. You can be subject to interest and penalties and fees. Could be a few dollars, could go up to 25%. So I think that a lot of people like the idea of buy now, pay later, but essentially it is the same trap we often can get into with credit cards. We can spend more than we intend to, and we can actually see fees if we're not paying these off on time.
So do we think that what's happening is a lot of 20-year-olds are saying, look, here's a way to get 80% off sunglasses. You just buy them, pay this little fraction, and walk away.
I don't want to just throw shade on the 20-year-olds because all of us have that moment. Because when you check out online, you know that it immediately says, do you want to pay for this all up front or do you want to spread it out over time? So we're all falling for this. I think the problem is, as always, that if we look back 5 years, we went through this COVID crisis, we built up our savings, the economy reopened, we spent through all those savings, and people still want to spend.
Yeah.
And credit cards and buy now, pay later plans, they allow you to spend freely, but with a huge catch. You are going to get spanked if you can't pay these loans back.
There's no such thing as free.
Jill, thank you very much. Appreciate it. If you've got a money-related question for Jill, send an email to askjill@cbs.com. and she could end up answering it in an upcoming segment. In Switzerland, a huge chunk of a glacier broke off and fell down a mountain yesterday, gravity doing its work, nearly burying an entire village. This morning, one person is missing. That is the footage you're seeing. Wow. Authorities say the glacier was unstable. They noticed it weeks ago. They evacuated the 300 people living in this tiny alpine village. To get a sense of the damage, though, this is what things looked like just a few days ago.
Oh.
Pretty alpine village there. And
Sound of music.
This is what it looks like now. Mostly covered by ice, mud, and rock.
Pompeo.
Officials say the mudslide destroyed 90% of this village.
Unbelievable, those pictures. Probably climate change. All right. Ahead, a new partnership with the MLB that has softball on an upward swing. We'll take a look at how the popular sport is about to get much bigger. Plus, back in 1985, CBS News joined the search for sunken treasure. Was it found? Our morning's memory has more, just in a few.
By the way, if you missed the big announcement in our 8 o'clock hour, the MLB, Major League Baseball, is partnering with the Athletes Unlimited Softball League ahead of its inaugural season, which begins next weekend, I believe it is, in fact. That partnership is expected to be a big boost for the all-women's professional softball league, helping it to get a bigger audience and more fans in the stands, which is the goal. Fun fact, as we back up a little bit, softball, originally called indoor baseball.
Oh, wow.
And after World War II, after there was some concern about injuries from playing baseball, it sparked a surge in softball's popularity. Throwing overhand can cause some injuries after all. It was deemed a safer alternative to America's so-called favorite pastime, certainly mine. Fast forward to the 70s and Title IX legislation, that's when softball and baseball were deemed to be equivalent sports for schools receiving federal funding. This also meant schools were able to prevent women from joining a men's baseball team so long as softball was offered as an option. It's very lawyerly here. But that gave rise to it being considered, quote, a women's sport. Well, today, softball is one of the most popular sports in the U.S. for young girls and women. Someone who has been playing since she was very young is Kim Ang, the commissioner of the new Athletes Unlimited Softball League, or AUSL. She joins us now. Kim, it's so great to have you here.
Thanks so much for having me.
You're also a big deal in baseball. So, but we didn't even mention that you're a big deal in baseball and all of that. So, but let's just put your baseball history to the side and talk about your future here with softball. Why are you excited to take on this role?
This is, first of all, women's professional softball has been on the come for a long time. Different iterations, but AUSL is the one that we believe is here to stay. For me, softball is a sport that I played as a child. We see participation going up and up, along with baseball over the last 5 years. Participation has gone up 27%. If you look at College World Series numbers for the women, in 24 over 23, viewership went up 24%.
Wow.
And you will see the Women's College World Series routinely viewer the men's College World Series. So it's exciting.
I heard you mention that in the last hour of the show, and Gail said, "Can you repeat that for us, please?" Because that is a huge headline. Let's talk a bit about your incredible history at the MLB. You were the first woman general manager. You were the general manager of the Miami Marlins. You were a senior vice president at the MLB. What are you doing? How are you shifting now into this new role as commissioner? Are you changing your approach in any way?
No, I think one of the strong skills that I have is establishing systems, and I think that's one skill set that I truly bring to the AUSL. I think just in terms of my experience as well, dealing with players, dealing with coaches and general managers, and really getting into some areas that I haven't necessarily been exposed to. But I feel like our time is now. And that all of the indicators are just so great for softball.
So what I find really interesting, and the reason we did that long setup, is that the lawyers decided that baseball and softball are equivalent for Title IX purposes. But put that over here. They're really different games in the sense that obviously one's underhanded, the bases are shorter, there's no mound, the fence is tighter. It's faster in many ways, softball is.
It is. It really is. And so as we've seen, decades past now, the athletes are getting, so much stronger. The technology is helping. And so the speed of the game, I think, is really one of the biggest differences between softball and baseball. And it's really fun to watch. It's fast-paced. There's lots of action. One of the biggest differences, the pitchers throw underhanded, but when you think about the velocity that they are able to create, we just had the fastest pitch recorded in history at 79.2 miles per hour.
Velocity.
At 43 feet versus 60 feet for the baseball side, which probably translates to about 108 to 110.
Wow.
Yes.
If it had been
yes.
baseball.
And so you're talking about a much faster reaction time for the women than what the men are doing.
It is really more exciting. I'll be honest. Like back in the day when I was a kid, there'd be like a rain delay in a baseball game we're watching, and then ESPN would put on like a softball game from some other market, and you'd be like, Now it's like, I'll be down in a bit. You just watch the whole thing to the end.
That's amazing. We're so excited for the league and that you're running it. You played softball in college, the University of Chicago, if I'm not mistaken.
I did. Long time ago.
No, but I'm sure it feels exciting to get back in there.
It is. I mean, for me, this is somewhat of a homecoming.
Exactly.
I grew up playing softball, played in college. My 4 sisters played.
Really?
3 of us played collegiately, so big softball family. And then one of the other items that I worked on when I was at Major League Baseball, I led the softball division. And so it was there we got a seat on the board of USA Softball and so other initiatives.
So exciting. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you so much.
Congrats.
Baseball and softball are lucky to have you.
Yes.
Thank you.
We'll be watching. Ahead, the stories that caught our eye. Plus, the Oscar goes to Vladimir Duthiers.
Vlad Duthiers.
But not yet. Maybe one day, because he's always wanted to act. For our Never Too Late series, he took lessons and even did a scene with a very familiar face. Will he abandon us for the glitz and glamour of Hollywood? We'll find out when we come back. Welcome back to CBS Mornings Plus. Here are the stories that caught our eye today. A Delta Airlines flight from Detroit to LA was diverted after an on-board emergency. Is there a vet on board? There was a sick dog. The plane, with nearly 200 people on board, landed in Minnesota so that the dog could receive medical care. The flight was delayed more than 2 hours and did eventually make its way to LA. Good news, on the second leg of that trip, the captain reportedly made an announcement telling passengers that the dog is expected to make a full recovery. Mm-hmm.
Would you be upset if...
I saw you in the last hour of the show. I love how you kept it real. It depends. It depends on what I had to do. But if I was a little late coming home and got to enjoy 2 more hours of peace on a plane by myself, I would be just fine with it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. I'm sure nobody on that plane was upset.
No.
Look, I love dogs. I grew up with dogs. And if that's the dog right there, the dog looks good. I'm glad it's okay. Rooting for the dog. Hailey Bieber is married to a pop star named Justin Bieber. Well, we might leave out that part of her bio going forward because she's now also going to be a billionaire. Apparently struck a $1 billion deal to sell her beauty and skincare empire. Yesterday, e.l.f. announced it was putting together the money to acquire Rhode, the fast-growing lifestyle brand Founded by Bieber in 2022, the 28-year-old model will remain with the company as chief creative officer and head of innovation. The deal is expected to close next year, and champagne will be popped.
Time now for a morning's memory. I'm so excited to say this. So today we're hitting the high seas and heading back to 1985, when CBS News joined the hunt for sunken treasure off the coast of Key West. Take a look.
The truth is, you just can't get enough of sunken treasure. These divers believe they are about to find a mound of gold and silver and jewels from the Spanish galleon Nuestra Senora de Atocha, which sank in 1622. In the past 2 days, they have pulled about $1 million worth of gold from the wreck, and now everyone on these boats has gold fever.
You got to get one of them big bars to get any attention here.
There are a lot of optimists here who believe $340 million worth of treasure will be found any day now. There's a saying on these boats, today's the day.
Today's the day. So what did they end up finding? Oh, just about 40 tons of gold, silver, and other jewels worth more than $400 million.
Well, did they get to keep it?
It gets complicated. They tried to do some kind of
would.
profit-sharing situation, and it got a little complex.
Well, I remember there was one where they found it, and then Spain was like, no, it's still ours.
That's ours.
And they got it back. The court ruled in their favor.
Really?
Yes, yes. Treasure
That ain't
hunters
right.
beware.
That ain't right.
Mhm.
If you
All
win,
right.
keep it quiet.
Now to our CBS treasure.
Delivered in that Tony way, like he's our CBS treasure.
I'm Ron Burgundy.
That's not how I thought I delivered it at all. This is why I'm fascinated, Vlad Duthiers, in acting, because the ability to control what's in here and have it come out and be expressed through here is amazing to me. It's a very hard one. As part of our series, Never Too Late, Vlad decided to go Hollywood and get serious about acting. He does have a little bit of experience. He has confessed. He played somebody in a play in high school, and he played a news anchor in the Jack Ryan series. That was pretty light work, I think, Vlad. And in the horror film Smile, too.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah.
I missed these cameos.
Okay, light work.
Well, that was the point.
Yeah, yes, you're the news guy in the crew.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay, all right. But he wanted to expand his range. So Vlad signed up for acting classes and put everything he learned to the test.
I think maybe it was my fault.
Oh, you think?
No. It was me. It was my fault.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, I guess going to Arizona for 10 days for our second date and getting engaged wasn't like the best idea.
No.
No.
No, that's not it. It's sort of this. It's the work, it's the bills, it's the groceries.
It's the donuts.
Not the donuts. I never wanted this.
Wait. Is that why you brought me here? Just to tell me why you don't want to be with me?
You're not understanding me.
Yeah, you just said you never wanted any of this.
That's because I didn't realize that this could be that.
You're not making any sense.
All my life, I thought things had to be stable and certain. I was wrong.
But that's it? Okay, fine. Go stay in your predictable little bubble.
I'm just gonna go get a donut. I know, it's a Tuesday. I'm gonna go eat a donut, and maybe I'll have a taco after that. Who knows what I'll do? Come with me. Come eat junk food on a weekday. Let's eat tacos together for the next 10 days. And 10 days after that. And 10 days after that. And after that.
Okay. But I get to choose the donut shop.
Okay.
Okay.
I can handle that. In case you didn't notice, that is SNL phenom Chloe Fineman, who agreed to be in this scene with me. We studied at the Stella Adler School of Acting, of which she's an alumna. They are the ones who connected us with Chloe. We also, you saw, you didn't see, but in the earlier piece, we showed you my acting coach, Jennifer Monaco, who put me through my paces over the course of many days and many, many hours. And we have a reaction from Amy Riesenbach, who is the president of CBS Television, who is responsible for casting almost everything we watch on CBS. We sent her this self-tape.
You're shooting your shot, Vlad.
We're shooting our shot. We have a little bit of what Amy thought of this self-tape. Let's play it.
He's a little fidgety with his hands, but I think he's very sweet, very relatable, and has great on-screen presence. I see leading man status all over this audition.
Leading man status! So Amy also did say, I must remind Vlad we have him under contract. She said leading man status if he's playing a dead body. No, but it was very sweet of Amy to take time out of her day to watch this tape of ours. And I gotta just say, did you see how it was shot? Derek Davis, who should be a cinematographer in
one
Hollywood.
of our photographers.
Derek Davis shot
stuff,
that. It was
beautiful.
What questions do you guys have?
Vlad, you did it. You got it, kid. What did you do? What was the technique that you learned to help you connect in that way?
There was one technique that Monaco put me through, which was a repetition exercise where I say something like, you have beautiful hair. And you repeat, I have beautiful hair.
I have beautiful hair.
You have beautiful hair.
I have beautiful hair.
You have beautiful hair.
I have beautiful hair.
You've got beautiful hair.
I have beautiful hair.
Yeah, and it was that, by doing that over and over again with a range of emotions, it helps you sort of tap into the spontaneity and instinct of which she is, the style of technique that she's trained in is the Meisner method. Stella Adler, who trained Marlon Brando and Robert De Niro, they believe in using imagination to tap into what you saw there on the screen.
Oh, so good. I loved it. I was smiling from ear to ear.
So interesting.
Isn't it so good?
It's
You're
so
fascinated by acting.
No, I'm fascinated by that, the way you could take a sentence and have it on the page, and you might move on this way and think the meaning is fixed, but actually there's meaning above and beyond based on the tone of voice and how
the
you
meaning
read
comes
it.
from the actor that you're playing.
Yeah.
Also,
It's incredible.
Speaking of actors.
Vlad, bravo.
Thank you, guys. It was awesome. And Schroeder and Vita, my producers, thank you.
And to our viewers, we want to hear from you. You've got your own Never Too Late stories. Go to nevertoolate.cbsnews.com and you could have your story featured here on CBS Mornings Plus.
Ahead, the new Broadway musical that is wowing audiences night after night, Real Women Have Curves. It stars Justina Machado and Tatiana Cordova are here. They're in our green room. They're going to talk about what Entertainment Weekly called, quote, an absolute joy. Ain't that the truth? That and so much more when we get back.
Who am I? Do I need you? If I'm finished as a mother, as a wife, what's my life? Take me with you.
This is a song about menopause that is so funny. It's so funny.
All right.
You know and love her from TV shows like One Day at a Time, Jane the Virgin, my favorite, and 6 Feet Under. And now you can call her Tony Award nominee Justina Machado. She is starring as Carmen Garcia in the new hit musical Real Women Have Curves, based on the movie from 2002, which was adapted from a play. Machado stars alongside Broadway newcomer, here to stay, Tatiana Cordova, who plays her daughter Anna. Growing up in a family of immigrants, Anna has to balance her mother's expectations, the family business, and her own dream of flying away.
Flying away, I'll make her see that I'm gonna change the world and still be the daughter she wants me to be. Can I fly away?
Do you hear how these women sing? Justina Machado and Tatiana Cordova, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
So much.
Thank you. I'm still floating. I saw the show yesterday. It was incredible. And Tony was talking about this just before we came on. There's a real universality to this piece. It's on the surface about undocumented women working in a factory, mostly from Mexico. But I connected to it. I'm Dominican from New York. You're Puerto Rican from Chicago. You're Costa Rican and Filipino.
Yeah, but I saw like an Italian.
Yes.
You can see any story in it.
Yes.
Totally. What is that? What is that universal appeal?
I think it's the immigrant story. I think it's the, I'm the firstborn in a family that migrated from Puerto Rico to Chicago. I'm first generation, and Anna's story is kind of my story. They didn't want me to leave either.
Really?
And we weren't undocumented, but we were, struggling in Chicago, and I just think it's a story that everybody can relate to. It's a human story.
Timing is so good. The dialogue is so funny. And then the songs, you take real risk and they pay off. Like there's a song about menopause, which we just played. There's a song about losing your virginity.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think you were going to carry that song when you started. I was like, are they really doing a whole number?
Yeah, they
and he did.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, when you saw the script, you just knew it worked, or how long did it take to work it together?
Yeah, I mean, I came pretty late into the whole process. I'm like sort of the newbie in this whole thing. But I mean, immediately it's so funny, and it's just these characters are so fleshed out. I think part of that is led to our writers and also the women who originated these roles. Most of the factory women and Justina have been with the project for so many years. So so many of the characters are so fleshed out, so real. I mean, like you said, like you can find your aunt or your mom or whatever in every single one of these women.
It's the range. You have these light moments, but there's a depth. The most powerful scene is when there's an immigration raid on the factory. They turn off the lights, everybody goes into hiding, and all you hear is quiet sobbing and praying in Spanish. And it's just like, it's visceral. What does it feel like playing that scene at a time like now in our country when deportations have intensified?
It's very powerful, and you really do feel it. And you think of everybody that is being taken, and these people that are scared, and you think about the fact that our people are being villainized. So I mean, I tear up thinking about it now. It's a powerful moment, and I think all of that you feel on stage is real.
It is real.
Yeah.
But the story is also so real, and it's more than just that
Yes, it's
message.
joyous,
And more than
yeah.
it's so joyous, and it's so humane, and I think it's beautiful. And as much as I can give it the boyfriend, husband, gringo. Can I do that?
I love that. I love that stamp of approval.
Give us that stamp of approval.
Tony wrote me when he saw it, it's as close to perfectly made as anything I've ever seen. That is a direct quote.
Tony.
It's incredible, and it's for everyone. It's for everyone.
Nothing's out of place. It's
Yes.
really
Wow,
nicely
thank
done.
you.
Tatiana, Justina, thank you so much for being here. The show is, of course, Real Women Have Curves. It's playing right now at the James Earl Jones Theater. And the 78th Annual Tony Awards air June 8th right here on CBS and streaming on Paramount Plus. Can't wait to watch it. We'll be right back.
It is day 4 of our CBS Mornings Deals Summer of Savings event, and all week we are showing you more items with even bigger discounts. Today, deals up to 66% off. To start shopping right now, scan the QR code, you see it on the screen, or visit CBSDeals.com. Knocking's lifestyle expert Elizabeth Werner joins us now. Good morning.
Good morning. So I'm so excited. It has taken me 2 years to get this unbelievable brand right here for our CBS family.
Yeah.
This is Laura Geller. She is internationally known as a makeup artist. She makes the most beautiful palettes, foundations, highlighters, and eyeshadows. I've been using this now for 20 years. My mom and my kids use it also. All of her items start off as a cream. They are then baked in an oven in Italy on terracotta tiles, and the cream becomes this powder-like substance. Wow. So this powder is not drying like traditional powders. It's actually got antioxidants in it. It's actually like a skincare plus makeup. Easy to use.
Wow.
You can do your whole face in a New York minute. We have 2 amazing bundles today. One blush and an actual foundation, so you can just get up and go. The other one that's comprehensive, that has everything from a primer all the way through your highlighters. This is highly, highly sought after, and we have an unbelievable price. Right now, these bundles start at $48. It's up to $155 savings. This is great, by the way, for me with the mature skin. It doesn't sit in the lines and the creases. It's nice and hydrating. So
Really, all amazing stuff. I know this brand, and that says a lot.
Laura Geller, it's a really great thing, and we're so happy to have her here now. So full crystal, this weekend, Memorial Weekend, before I was to host a party, I decided that I was going to clean all the windows, and I got to use full crystal.
Oh, cool.
These are like magic pixels and dust that get everything off of not only your windows, but your screens.
Okay.
But you can also utilize this on your siding, on your outdoor furniture, on your vehicles. So when I used it at my house, what I noticed was that there I am, I'm able to clean the windows and the screens at the same time. That is actually my house. My shutters were disgusting. Everything came beautifully clean. And look what I don't have, a ladder. I don't have buckets. I don't have a squeegee. It dries with no spots, no streaks. When I went upstairs and looked out of that kitchen window, it was like looking at a new thing because it was so bright and so clean. And my parents are very excited that they're not getting on a ladder anymore. $35, you get the actual canister here that you're gonna attach to your hose, and all 6 of these. Each one of these can clean 20 windows with the screen, by the way.
Great.
But use it on everything outside, and
Really
it's safe
cool.
for our plants and our pets.
Nice.
Now, rush charge. We know that when we're out and about, our phones are our lifelines,
Yep.
texting, calling. If you have an emergency, you're on the side of the road, whatever it might be, you're out at the beach having fun, you can pop this in. It's universal. So if you're buying this as a gift, you don't have to know what phone someone has. All these tips are going to
all
fit
work.
in. They're going to give you 26 hours of extra talk time, and you'll notice that this is a one-handed operation. You plug this in, there are no cords, no wires. You can keep talking, you can keep texting, and it has something called pass-through technology. So when you plug this in at night, you can plug your devices. I've got my earbuds and my phone right here plugged in. Everything's charging at once, and I recommend the bundles. This is my entire family, my hubby and I, the grandparents and the kids. You buy more, you save more. Right now, $39.99 for one, and that's 50% off. Oh,
Really
love it.
cool. All right, Elizabeth, thank you very much. Appreciate it. We partner with these companies to offer these deals to buy anything you saw today. Scan the QR code on your screen or visit cbsdeals.com. Tune in tomorrow, meanwhile, for day 5 of our summer savings event.
We'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks for watching CBS Mornings Plus.
Bye.
Here's yours.